I was 12 the first time I saw my dead father cross from the kitchen doorway to the hall that led back to the utility room. It was 2:49 in the morning, as near as I could reconstruct. Last episode, a father who hid his violence. Now, a son who must face his father's ghost. This is Mapping the Interior. I'm Zan. Konnichiwa, aloha, buongiorno, and what's up? And welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Book Club. So let's actually get to it because this is our 14th entry of Spiraken's 45 by 45 project, where I read 45 books before my 45th birthday. Let's see what we're going to do in this one, because if you remember, I told you that we're going to be reviewing a book, well, actually, a novella that was written by Stephen Graham Jones. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about Mapping the Interior. This was written in 2017. And for those who aren't aware, Stephen Graham Jones is a horror author who's written such books as The Buffalo Hunter and various other stories which are involving the nation of Native Americans. Reason why is that he is descent of Native Americans, and that compels a lot of his work. And honestly, I was unfamiliar with that when I decided to pick this up. So it was an interesting and pleasant change in thought when that happened. And honestly, I was a little shocked at that. More importantly, I was shocked at this story because this story was sold to me in a way which was very different than what I ended up getting. And let's actually get to it because honestly, I'll read the jacket copy for you. Times have been tough for 12-year-old Junior, his mom, and especially for his younger brother Dino. When his dad makes a surprise visit late one night, Junior is desperate to make him part of the family again. The only problem is, Dad drowned 8 years ago, and bringing back the dead always comes at a cost. Now, this sounds intriguing. A guy whose dad's been gone for 8 years and he's back, maybe has a feed of bodies, maybe the house is haunted, we don't know. And what do you mean by mapping the interior? What does that mean? Is it the interior of the soul? What's going on? Well, let's get to it. It's a story about a son who's dealing with the loss of his dad, as well as dealing with his 12th year of life, dealing with a younger brother who is developmentally delayed or emotionally challenged. We're not entirely sure. We've never told that. And his mom, who's trying to stick it together after her husband died in a horrible way, while trying to get her kids in a better life when she has two kids who are constantly screwing things up. And worse is that because of their screw ups, she gets reprimanded for this. She has to leave work early, or it's cost her job dealing with her two kids who are, they're not bad, but they're screwing things up. This is all from the point of view of the son. It's in first person in a very, well, it's a very different type of writing style that either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. I've read a lot of first person and they're done really well. This one kind of made me feel not different, but it was meandering. And apparently, this is the writing style for all of his books. And I've read excerpts of the other books and they're fascinating and great. In this one, it just felt a little off, a little weird. But I will say this: Junior is someone who has his priorities in the right spot because, yeah, he does stupid things, a lot of stupid things, and yeah, he does makes a lot of messes. But his family are his most important thing for him. And when he first sees his dad and sees his brother's having issues, his mom asks him, "Hey, is everything all right?" And he pretty much tells her, "I'm all right." I told her, "This is the lie when you're 12 and all the other years too. You never tell your mom anything that might worry her. Moms have already enough to worry about." And that's 100% true because moms do have to deal with everything. They're the managers of the house. They're the ones that make the breakfasts. They deal with situations. Dads do a lot, but moms, they're the backbone of the family and the backbone of raising kids. And he doesn't want to deal with that. He doesn't want to bother her. So he has to deal with the fact that maybe he's imagined his dad, maybe he's real. So what he has to do is he has to map his interior, which is it's not a mobile home, it's not a trailer park home, it's something in the middle. And he's mapping this house out to try to see what's going on, figure out where dad appeared. Maybe he's hiding under the house. What's going on? Also, his dad has appeared to him in his regalia because his dad wanted to be a dancer, a tribal dancer, and he never did it. And that's an element of this story which is also pretty, which should be fascinating. It's kind of weird though. And what I mean is, well, let me tell you the quote about it, which is going to be, that's how you talk about dead people though, especially dead Indians. It's all about squandered potential, not actual accomplishments. And that's the thing, is that the dad had these squandered accomplishments. He drank too much, he smoked too much, kind of the problems that a lot of Native Americans have. But also that talks about, the book is speaking about itself, because this is squandered potential. This is supposed to be a story about this emotionally raw horror story. It won the Bram Stoker Award in 2017. It feels like squandered potential. It really does. And note, I am someone who has not lost my father. I've had a lot of death in my family. Hazards of being from a Hispanic family. You have a lot of family. So I've been experiencing death since I was 7. Been to too many funerals. I have way too many prayer cards. And with that in mind, the hardest thing I ever lost was my grandmother and grandfather, because they were in my life a lot. When I was when I was a child living in my first home, they lived in the same house as us, and we'd see them all the time. And that was tragic. But I can't even imagine losing your parent, losing your father or your mother. It's got to be devastating. And this, it feels like it wants to go that emotionally raw, but it doesn't. Because the thing is, Junior's 12. He lost his dad 8 years ago. That means he was 4. And you could barely remember most things at 4 years old. You could have glimpses and memories, but 4 years old, your mind is still creating the beginnings of your brain. So he can't really attach to it. Like, he's asking his mom about his dad, and it's like just coming up with these things to see if it's a romanticized version of his dad. And this should be fascinating. It should be great. It honestly isn't. And also, applaud it for giving a younger brother who is having seizures and is obviously developmentally delayed, without saying he's developmentally delayed. The fact he can't count to 10 is saying something. I don't know if he's verbally, if he has some minor verbal issues. We don't know. However, they don't focus on that, which is good and bad. It just, I don't know. I don't know. This didn't sit right with me. And part of it was the writing style. And I, my feelings, either love first person or hate it. And this one, honestly, there's some interesting aspects to it, but the prose were meandering at points. It kind of looped around to a point where you're off the where you want to go, and you're like, wait, how the hell did I end up here? And that let me down. And I really wanted to like this. I've heard a lot of really good things about this. And his other work I've heard great things about. I'm going to be picking up some of his other books to just do a litmus test after this project is done, to see if it is as good as it is, or if I'm just crazy. But honestly, yeah, um, I really am trying not to be super negative about this. But honestly, I mean, another element that it covers is, it covers the fact that his mom is obviously in a relationship with the police officer, trying to maybe fix things. We don't know if it's because her son did something dumb and she's like, well, maybe if I cozy up to this deputy, my son won't go to jail. Or maybe it's she's lonely and that's what's going on. We don't know, but it's from the point of view of a kid. And I like that it is from the point of view of a kid. But overall, let's just say it, after consideration and going back and forth, I've got to give this our second lowest rating of, it's technically a book, but better ideas exist. It's got the bones of a powerful story here. You've got grief, brotherhood, heritage. It gets into the nation's ethos. Really cool. But the prose wandered so much and so far off the track, you can't find your way back. It just lets you down. And the last quote, because I usually do 3 quotes for these books, the last quote from this book fits my feelings on this book and Stephen Graham Jones perfectly. And that's going to be, well, standing there, I promised myself that if I ever had kids, I was going to be different. Promise every Indian kid makes it at some point. You mean it when you say it, though. You mean it so hard. And that's a powerful statement because it's you want to do better. You want to do better than your predecessors. And in this situation, I think Stephen Graham Jones needs to do better or can do better. Do better than this, really. And I know those who don't do write crit. I write a little bit. I'm not good. I'll admit that. And so me criticizing is kind of being crazy. But my feelings on the matter are: I've read a lot of books. I really like them. A lot of books I don't like. This one, it just honestly, I'm apathetic on it. I just meh. I was sold a bill of goods that just didn't do it. This isn't supposed to be this tale of innocence and family and ghosts. It's like the ghost is the minimal part. It's all about a kid dealing with his father's death, which is fine. If we sold it as that, I'd be giving this a gift from your crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay, but forgettable. But it wasn't. It was sold in a specific way as a horror story, and it's not a horror story. Well, that's my thoughts. Well, anyway, if you agree or disagree with me, you can email me personally at Zan, that's Xan at Spiraken.com, and let me know your thoughts. Just email me, let me know, or you can comment down below. Comment on the website. You can message me on Blue Skies, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you want to message me. Let me know your thoughts on if you like this or did. And also, speaking of which, if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, share, subscribe, and as always, click on that bell for notification for when we release new episodes. We're at about 400 followers. Let's see if we can get up to 500 before the end of this year. That's my goal. Let's see what we can do. But anyway, so we've had a lot of unique stories so far. We've had stuff about kids, stuff about dads, stuff about former spies, stuff about weird spies who are from a weird dimension. Let's do something a little different. Let's go back to sci-fi. Let's go, how about some cyberpunk? I'm talking about as the next book for book number 15, which is a third of the way through Project 45 by 45, is going to be Cyberpunk 2077 No Consequences by Kosik. Kosik was one of the writers for Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and this sounds intriguing. It's about 6 people who end up getting involved in a heist for reasons that we're not sure about. And if it's a cyberpunk story, you know this is not going to end well. Is it going to be good, though? Is it going to be bad? We're going to find out. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Spiraken Book Club. As usual, I'm your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. I'll catch you guys next time. And as always, keep reading books. I'll see you later.